Right guys, we have tons of new details regarding the iPhone 15 series, specifically regarding Wi-Fi 6E support, Periscope Zoom lenses, production changes, and also dummy units, and so let's delve into it. So let's first talk about Wi-Fi 6E. So for years, there's been reports regarding the iPhone gaining this. I believe Android phones have had this for years, and only just now Apple's been giving it to their iPads and Macs, and so it does make sense that Apple finally gives us Wi-Fi 6E support. Now why is this so important? Well, if you have a Wi-Fi 6E router, you can get access to the 6 GHz band, which provides faster connectivity, lower latency, and less interference. So yes, if you do have Wi-Fi 6E, that's a nice upgrade. But I think the bigger reason we're getting this is because Apple does plan to launch the headset relatively soon, and we've heard tons of details regarding the processing for the AR/VR experience being offloaded to other devices so that the headset itself can be less bulky. So of course, having the best Wi-Fi tech is pretty important when you're offloading such data. So yes, when the headset launches later this year, we can expect iPhone 15, the new Macs, and the new iPads to be the best devices to use alongside the headset. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this. It would be appreciated. Now let's move on to the Periscope Zoom lens, because we've heard a lot about the iPhone 15 Pro Max exclusively having this feature, but now the elect tells us the following year the regular iPhone 16 Pro is going to gain this. Now on the surface this makes sense because Apple in the past has given exclusive features to the bigger size and then brings it over to the smaller size the following year. For example, the iPhone 12 Pro Max had the sensor shift stabilization tech that the regular 13 Pro then adopted, and so that could be the case here with the Periscope Zoom lens. However, I do wonder how Apple's going to fit this in such a small device, because I thought the big reason the 15 Pro Max was the only one getting this was because of space constraints. That would make sense because current Android phones that have Periscope Zoom lenses are the bigger sizes. For example, Samsung does not offer the Periscope Zoom lens with the regular S23, which is a similar size to the regular 6.1-inch size iPhones have. And so yes, it's interesting that Apple could give us a Periscope Zoom lens with a 6.1-inch iPhone and somehow not sacrifice other features in the device like the battery. So yes, I do have my doubts about this. But then again, LG Innotek has been showing off a new module that's a lot more compact and could actually eliminate the camera bump, so there is a chance Apple could give the regular size a periscope lens and not massively decrease the battery's capacity. However, I will say that even if Apple could theoretically give us this feature on the regular size, I can see this remaining as an exclusive for the Pro Max because Apple wants to upsell consumers. Gurman told us about this, and Apple very much did this with the 14 series and butchered the regular models, and so I can see Apple taking that further and of course butchering the regular Pro and giving the Pro Max more features. Since I'm sure that some of you guys might have seen the news that smartphone sales have massively declined, and that makes sense because this is a mature market. Consumers don't upgrade as often, so of course when you do every 3 to 4 years, if Apple can get you to buy the Pro Max and get you to spend more cash, that's going to be a big win for them. So yes, I think that there is a chance the Periscope Zoom lens remains exclusive to the bigger size. Anyways, here's some supply details for you guys. Apparently for the OIS actuators in this lens, Apple's going to rely on Korean companies, LG Innotek and Jawa Electronics, replacing their existing makers, Japan Alps and Mitsumi, and apparently the new suppliers are working with Samsung to make ball-type actuators, which are better suited for Periscope Zoom modules, instead of the spring actuators Apple currently uses. And yeah, considering that Samsung has expertise when it comes to producing Periscope Zoom modules for their highest end flagships, it makes sense that Apple suppliers are getting advice from Samsung. Anyways, let's now move on to major supply changes with the 15 series, because of what happened with the 14 series. So in case you weren't aware, the 14 Pros were massively supply constrained for many weeks due to a COVID-19 resurgence in China that of course forced a lot of Foxconn factories to shut down and significantly reduce production capacity. And so yes, as one expects, Apple's planning to change things up for the 15 series and rely less on these Foxconn factories. And so yes, according to TrendForce, apparently Luxshare is going to start assembling iPhone 15 Pro Max models alongside Foxconn next year. Now this makes sense because number one, we expect the Pro Max or the Ultra to be the most popular device, and so if there are issues with Foxconn once again, then of course Luxshare can produce a majority of the devices. Because if I'm being honest, a lot of Apple's sales rely on consumers getting their phones immediately, because if they know that hey, they can upgrade to the 15 Ultra right now, they're going to be compelled to make an impulse purchase. Whereas if they have to wait a few weeks, they might reconsider it and think that, hey, I'm better off keeping my current device and not upgrading. So yes, I can understand why Timothy wants to rely less on China and their factories and diversify their supply chain. Now let's move on to iPhone 15 mockups from pretty credible source Makatakara, and they show us that most of these iPhone 15 models are not going to work with existing iPhone 14 cases apart from the 15 Plus. And actually it's pretty interesting the 15 Plus is working with 14 Plus cases, because we are expecting the 15 Plus to be adopting the 14 Pro dimensions, and the 14 Pro Max did not work with 13 Pro Max cases, which the 14 Plus is based on, and so these mockups could be false, and I have a feeling that all four devices are gonna need new cases. And to be fair, that's not a massive issue because most iPhone 14 consumers are not getting the 15 series, they're not upgrading on a yearly basis, and so yes, a small niche of consumers are gonna be annoyed by this. Anyways, the mockups do show basically everything we've already seen. For example, the thinner bezels on the Pro models, slightly larger rear cameras, and curved edges. And like the CADs hinted, because of the thinner bezels on the Pros, the bodies are getting more compact, which is great news for the Pro Max. You now have a 6.7-inch iPhone that's going to be a little easier to use, which I do appreciate. You also get Type-C in all devices, that's fantastic news. And like the CADs also pointed out, the body of the Pro Max is getting thicker for the Periscope Zoom lens, and so the camera bump's going to stick out less. But with the regular Pro, because that's not getting the Periscope Zoom lens, the body's going to be slimmer but the bump's larger. So yeah, basically everything we saw with the CADs are illustrated with these dummies. Anyways, that's about it guys. Tell me your thoughts regarding this in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. And on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one.